Hello everyone and welcome back to the Formula 1 2021 League. We are in Austria. This is likely the most popular track online. I'm almost positive of that. And because of that, there's a lot of people who are going to be racing today who are very familiar with this track and have good setups already. And I'm one of them. I like my setup for this one. We are going into this race on a 4-win streak, winning in Abu Dhabi, winning in Monza, winning in France, and winning in Belgium. So right now we're doing really, really well. And partially because of that, I want to start on mediums for this race, and I'm going to try and qualify on my medium setup. For that reason, and I also want to get a bit more overtaking into my races. So if I start in the middle of the pack, it'll be more interesting to see how the undercut works with going from mediums to softs. And there are quite a few tracks that prefer mediums to softs. You lose a bit of time at the beginning, but a lot of the time you can make up for it towards the end. And I think Austria is one of those tracks. So this gives me a good opportunity to maybe qualify in the middle of the field. However, if I qualify well, I'm on a good strategy for this track, and it's going to pay off really, really well. So we're going to see that. I'm going to bring up the points here. I know I just mentioned we were on a 4-win streak, but you can see here we're at the top of the drivers in the lead by 30 points, which means I can DNF a race and have Moro in second place, get a full 20-point win, and I will still be ahead by 10 points. However, as you'll see in the Constructors' Championship, we are only ahead by a single point. So it is very important that that we can obtain every point possible in these races. So let's get on to it and see the first qualifying lap. So now, on to the start of my first qualifying lap. You can see I have the yellow walled mediums on. Like I said, I want to qualify on these tires, and this is a fast track with a lot of straights. This first turn, really easy to invalidate. You want to get right to the line and try not to get too much tailspin on there. And now your exit is so important because it's going to carry all the way down here. This is the first DRS straight after the main straight, and you want to cut in here nicely. My setup is really tuned well for this one, so I can brake even later there. I had a lot of practice in the time trials for this, and now we're on to the second DRS straight. So it's a lot of super fast long straights in the first couple sectors, and you want to get your turns and exits absolutely perfect before going into here. And this is where it's also very easy to invalidate. It's very easy to spin out. You can see I'm bouncing quite a bit, and I'm trying not to get too much curb. You want to get that curb just nicely on the dark red with your outside tire. And now you can see how short this track is. You want to swing here early, light brake, a little bit over the curb, and then right on the line into the second last turn, going to the last turn, all the way down the straight. And I am super happy with that lap. That is P1 on my first lap.
Good job.
And I'm going to try and make that stick. You'll see here I was on the end of my lap for my softs, but I can bail at them anytime and make sure I qualify on my mediums. And with that, I think my medium's going to hold, so I'm going to bail at the end of this. And right here, even though I am ahead, if I were to continue that lap, I would only be beating myself, and right now I think that was just Moro, or actually no, that was my teammate ahead of me. I think both alphas are out, but I am happy losing 1 or 2 places and starting on mediums while everyone else is starting on softs. It means I'll have a huge advantage towards the end of the race. And here you can see that we did in fact set pole position on the medium, so it's a bit disappointing that I'm not going to be somewhat middle of the track and get as much overtaking, but I promise with these strategies, the strategy is basically you're going to go on mediums, you're going to undercut while everyone's passing you on soft, very fast tires, and then when you go on the softs and they're on the mediums, you overtake them and you just fly by them. You can also see that Sinful in third qualified on his mediums. So we do have 2 other people on our strategy, and we need to be very mindful of how they're going to pit because they could be our competitors for this race, even Eric, who is further down the grid. Now this is where we need a restart, and everyone gets fresh tires anyways.
Fuck off.
So now you can see my strategy here. I'm reducing my fuel as per usual, and you can see that the mediums are going to make it to lap 9, and then the softs will make it the rest of the way. This is pretty normal, but I could even undercut sooner, and the softs will be a little slow at the end, but they'll make it quite easily. Whereas everyone will have the reverse, where their softs will make it pretty far, and they almost want to overcut, but then their mediums will almost be too good at the end, and they're going to lose to people who are on softs. So now, we get the start of the race. It is Austria, it is 5 red lights. And it is a pretty good start for us. A little too many revs, so I'm going to have to take a look. We see, though, that Tristan has a drive-through penalty. Means he's jumped the circuit, and he goes straight into the first corner. And he immediately comes back on and gives us a little wheel nudge, and it's very shaky moments to start off. And I can see that I have people on my inside, and I have to be very careful going to this first corner. So I'm going to cut off anyone trying to dive down my inside and control the pace of the race. Tristan gets a drive-through penalty. That means that he started going before the lights were out, so he now has to go through the pit lane to serve his penalty. I think he tried to get a bit of a tried to get ahead of everyone so he could just drive away and serve it early, but he almost gets a little bit too close to us into the first corner in the re-entry. I think there was a bit of lag on his side, so I don't think there's any fault on his end outside the drive-through penalty that he got. So yeah, very shaky starts, but we are gonna hold out first for now. You can see Moro is behind us. He's on those fast softs. Simple right behind him. Tristan immediately goes in the pit to serve his penalty, and so far so good. The strategy now has to come into play. Like I said, Moro on the faster tire, he is likely to catch up, but if I can get him out of DRS, out of that 1 second range, I'm going to at least try, because that'll put a lot of pressure off me. It's just very unlikely. Softs are generally around a second faster per lap, and until they start getting the deg starts kicking in. And you can see just on that turn there, I was a little bit sloppy as well, and Moro's immediately just gets 5/10 on me, and so I'm not going to fight him too much. Especially because the more we fight, it's going to affect my race with Sinful, who is 2 places behind and hoping that I stay slow while his tires stay good. So now on to lap number 3. We are in the first DRS section, and you can see Moro has the DRS, and he's going to close in. He's not going to get me just yet. I actually get a pretty good exit there, and I'm going to force him to try and use a bit of battery here, using a bit of battery myself. If he is going to overtake me inevitably, I want to make him work for it. And you can see there, I keep him behind for 1 more lap. And every lap I do this, if I can keep him behind without hurting my race, I can force it so that Sinful will have to pass him for his strategy to come into play. So there's going to be a lot of battling between Moro in the next lap or so, and you can see just how fast these laps are. We're already on the back end of it, only 1 minute lap times. But as we come across here, I am generally pretty fast through here, but it's a little bit slow right now, and those tires are definitely going to be closing in behind me. So first DRS, or sorry, there's the main straight here, no DRS, but the first DRS is coming up, and you can see Sinful is putting in the fastest lap of the race, so I know they're both very fast. A little bit of a tail slide. I use a bit of battery just to maintain, but I know I am not going to be able to stop Moro's for much longer, so I let him pass, let him go on the wide outside, and I plan to tuck in behind. I wanted him to pass me there as well because I want to get DRS for this straight, as the white line is right at the end of that last turn. So now on to lap number 5. There's going to be a lot of action. This race is probably going to be a longer video, but I'm happy that that's the case. Sinful with a bit of DRS. He's going to make a dive up the inside. I have to leave him a little bit of space. And importantly, Moro, I think looking behind him, goes just over the track and he gets a 3-second penalty. This is so huge for our race, and I managed to out-turn Sinful as he makes the dive, and he can't make the second dive into the next corner. So the good thing about that, Moro on the soft strategy, is unless we have a spin moment, is probably not going to be competing against us. That's mostly been our strategy so far anyways, but Sinful, importantly, probably used quite a bit of battery trying to overtake there. And it was all fair through the corners. There's lots of space, so I think we just had more traction, and I know I can brake later there than most people can with my setup. So far, so good. We just need to keep this going, as, again, by the time I'm done one voiceover, we're already on to the next lap, and we're going to the same DRS spot. So you can see Sinful's about 6/10 behind us. I'm about 4/10, and my tires are about to start becoming better than Moro's. He's still getting very good exits here, so I'm not going to be able to pass him, but I am going to be mindful of Sinful here as he comes up, and we'll see if he does another dive again. He doesn't this time, but you can see just how much I close on Moro's as I go onto the late brakes there. A bit of battery as well, just to give me some acceleration, and we're just going to maintain this for now. Now lap number 7, and you can see that nothing has really changed except for one thing. My tire degradation has not gone up that much, and I guarantee Moro's has gone up quite a bit. And you can see his backlight flashing, so I want to try and get an overtake here. Doing those late braking, I've done so much. He's going to push me right to the line, and we're just going to get a better exit. And I think he gets the DRS, so this is a bit awkward here as he's very fast. I'm just going to slam whatever battery I was saving against Sinful and force him to try and get up the inside while I take the longer, faster edge there, and we are side by side still, and he's trying to fight, and we're gonna get the inside onto the next turn, and that's gonna give us the advantage to retake the lead of this race, at least for the time being, as we pick up our first warning and also our teammates going into the pits, going into the next DRS straight. Moro's already having a look to see if he can get by me. You can see just how strong DRS is on this track, and he is right on my bumper now. He's got DRS. I don't have enough battery to really fight. Maybe could have pushed him a little further to the right here so he would have had a super narrow line. And I'm still going to fight it. I'm going to try and get that outside edge. Like I said, it's pretty fast, but the inside cut's just good, and he immediately pulls a little to the left to say, hey, I've got this corner. So all's fair here. He's going to pit at this point because he's definitely slowed me down enough that it will help Sinful out, and it's going to leave Sinful and I to race it out. And I'm starting to feel a little bit like a broken record, but this is one of the best places to overtake, and Sinful, with probably a little bit of battery saved, he's going to deep dive there. And I actually purposefully brake early so that he crosses the DRS line before me, and I get DRS on the next straight, and I can immediately catch up and have a little look. I'm going to force a little bit to the right just to say I might go down your inside, maybe send some fake signals, but I think at this point the alphas are aware that's something I do now. But you never know. Sometimes it can be a good place to do that deep dive. You can see Sinful's light still going on and off a little bit, so he's around the 10% mark, so I have about 15% of an advantage, and I plan to box on this lap. I'm not sure if Sinful's going to. He pulls a bit to the right, so I cut in a little bit behind, and I think I'm going to hit him, so I pull out of it. I'm like, I don't want to ruin my race, but that's okay. I just really want to make sure that I'm close enough to him, and we are going to box now. You can see that Moro's on the mediums is coming around the main straight right now, and this is where the timing really matters. You can see I look like I gained a little bit of time to Sinful. I'm not really sure. That might just be a visual issue and not an actual game issue, but Moro's is ahead, and importantly, Chills is now with us. Chills on his mediums has done really, really well, so we've got 4 people to contend with, and we have DRS straight away. Or rather, they all have DRS straight away, but they're all going to be fighting, so I'm going to catch up and try and pull them behind them. And this race, if it wasn't, enough overtaking already, let's just add a Red Bull to the mix, and now we've got 4 people fighting for the lead. You can see Eric is about 17 seconds behind me on fresh softs. He could theoretically catch up if he's a bit, or if we get held up a little bit, but I'm hoping to pass Chills as soon as possible because my soft tires are so much faster. You can see the amount of grip I have, and I've got quite a bit of battery now, so we're going to get a fight into this first sector.
And there are no plans for a safety car right now.
So now into the first corner, and you can see Chills doesn't get a great line, and we're immediately going to put on the battery, make sure we get past him. This is so important to get past the medium runners. He's immediately going to put the battery back on. I was a bit surprised, but I know how late I can brake. I just have to make sure I don't hit Moro's here, and Chills has enough space on the outside. I think he's a little bit late on his brakes comparatively, but we get ahead, and we're going to have DRS on Moreau's here. We're going to have a quick look, show him the right side again, but once again, the Alphas do not fall for it. But it doesn't matter because that little swivel to the right also helps control my pace, because I don't want to have too much pace going into that corner. But now I have to get past Moreau's. His mediums are not as fast as my softs right now, and I need to get as much pace as possible, especially because right now Sinful, who is also on the same strategy, is ahead of me, and he is gaining time while his teammate is holding me up. So I have to pass as soon as possible, as I'm a little wide there. I'm lucky not to get any exceeded track warnings, but and out of nowhere, Morrows just pops out in front of me as we set the fastest lap, and I'm gonna say thank you to that, but it could have caused a crash if anything. And he is going to fight me. He wants to fight me here, and he is going to get DRS because I passed him at the wrong spot. So all of this is super awkward. He's trying to break me, I think, a little early there, so he gets DRS again. Squeezes me really wide, but once again, I have just enough room to keep up with him. I have the DRS, and I need to throw my battery now because I need to stay ahead in case Simple makes a mistake. But the 2-second gap is going to be quite a lot to catch up on. It's there's so much happening in this race, and you can tell like how strong the teamwork is between the two Alfa Romeros, because Moreau's has a 3-second penalty, so the more he fights me, the further back he's going to go, and Eric could still potentially gain quite a bit of time while he's fighting me. So right now Moreau's is in an effective 4th place, but if his teammate does well, then that nets some more points in the constructors. That is so close as we set yet another fastest lap, and you can see that 2 seconds is now whittled down to 1.3 between me and Sinful, so you can see just how much pace and how much confidence I have on these softs. So now on to lap 14. You can see I'm just over a second as we cross the line for the DRS, so I'm not going to get DRS from Sinful, but importantly, he has a 3-second penalty now, so now I just need to stay close. Potentially if that penalty holds, as Moreau's is still fighting me. He's going deep down the inside all the way to the edge, and I'm gonna hold it, but he's gonna keep fighting me consistently. As long as he stays in my DRS, those mediums will keep up as I get more and more worn tires. So right now it's gonna be hard because I'm fighting Sinful as if he doesn't if in case the penalty gets removed, I have to fight him in case that happens. But if it does stay there, I need to play safe enough that I'm going to be fine between the two Alfa Romeros. And importantly, if both of those penalties stick, as of right now, Chills would bump up into 2nd place. So it is a very, very close race overall. I'd love to see more of Chills' race at the beginning, because I don't remember seeing him too much, but he obviously had a really good couple laps on his mediums that are now coming up into their own. Morrow sends a little bit of a fake signal there, similar to mine, but I'm not going to cut it off. I'm going to get a clean exit here, and we're just going to try and hold him. But you know, if you haven't seen it once already, here he comes down the inside. I have to kind of give him space, and I get pushed really, really wide this time. And we're over the track, and he is going to take 2nd place here, and he got DRS. So now I have to be mindful of Chills behind me, who doesn't have any penalties, and he's gonna have a little bit of a look, but I think at that point I already had control of the corner and he bailed out of it. So much going on Austria. You can see why this is one of the most popular tracks. It is just action, action, action. I think already we're at the 20-minute mark for this video, so apologies for the length in advance, but this is what Austria is all about. Only a small time jump this time. I'm going to cut a little bit of the fluff in the middle. You can see Moreau's light is flashing, and I'm going to take him on the DRS on the inside. He's going to go deep, and I have to give him a bit of space so he has room. And he will get DRS on this one, so I need to use a little bit of battery. He's trying to go into my slipstream, and this time I'm going to, more importantly, push him to the outside so he has to brake really hard on that inside. And if I had done that in the first place on the earlier laps, it would likely have been a similar position. So it shows just how strong defending is in terms of just making sure your opponent has to brake that little bit earlier, has to turn that little bit tighter. and make sure they stay away. But look at the time loss I have from fighting Moroz. I am now 2.6 seconds behind Sinful, who is flying away, and now I need to stay within 3/10 just so that the penalty matters. If it gets removed, I can't do anything about it, but if the penalty matters, this last half a second is going to be so important, especially with Moroz fighting me with his DRS, which he's still just barely staying in. I'm trying so hard to get him out of those 2/10, and it's just been back and forth, and now I have to save what little battery I have while he's probably using his. I don't think he's close enough to do a little dive here, so I'm going to do a normal racing line, but he gets DRS once again for the second straight, and thanks to a nice exit by me, I get those 6/10 so I can save a little bit of my battery and not worry about him diving into this corner. And now the final lap, you can see Moroz, he's close enough. My battery's at 4%. We can't really fight it, but I can force him super wide. I need to make sure that while we're fighting that he doesn't get in front of me, because if he gets in front of me, he can break through the last few corners and make it so I fall out of 3 seconds for Sinful. So really defensive on my part, and Moroz is now fighting Chills, so he should be off my back now finally. And you can see that we're staying just within 2.3 seconds, so these last few corners really matter. We cannot screw it up. Any tail snap, any little bit of understeer, any little bit of too much curb, and we are gonna fall out of the 3-second position. But as we go into the last couple corners, I'm gonna keep my pace up. I can't afford to not push right now either, and we stay within the 3 seconds, getting a clean exit there, and it's going to be 2.2 seconds the difference, and we are going to win Austria for our 5th win in a row. This has been a crazy one. I'm sorry for the delay on the videos, but I hope this was worth the wait. There's so much action. I don't want to cut any of it. This is going to be easily a 20-minute video. And man, after this race we were talking, Moroz was talking about the moment he pushed me a little off the track. I said, yeah, well, you know, it was a little off the track, but like it was just hard racing through and through, and really happy. You can see that Sinful did fall to 2nd. He didn't fall to 3rd, so that was important for the Alphas. Chills did finish in 3rd, and importantly, my teammate finished 5th, which is really good for our points, which I'm going to show right here. And as you can see here, with this win, we have increased our lead from 30 points to 42 points. Moroz falling to 4th place has really helped us there. And importantly, in the Constructors, we've at least increased our lead a little bit from 1 point to 4 points. So every point really matters from here on out. The Constructors is very close. The Drivers is still anyone's game. It only takes a couple DNFs, and all of a sudden, Moroz and Eric and Chills there could all be within my range. So we have to be very careful, but that is us in 1st place on the podium. I'm so excited. There's more races to come. I know I'm about 4 races behind at this point, maybe even 5. So apologies again for the delay. The new position has got me working extra hours. Today is Sunday as well, and I've worked all weekend, so it's going to be another 12 days straight of work for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit longer, but lots and lots of race action for you to see. So thank you for all your support and all the nice messages I've been getting from other people, and I hope to see you at the next race. Thanks guys, bye now.